Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Again, we are with new, very important topic on NOPSI Conversation Series. This is the 11th episode. Today, we are live broadcasting today. And as you all know that NAPSU is taking up very, very important topics on different areas related to social work practice and education. And in this series, again, we are having very, very important LOCF Learning Outcomes Curriculum Framework. Today is the topic, and we have very, very important guests today. So let me take up first the moderator of the session, who is the Professor Anup Bharti. Namaskar, Anup ji. Welcome to the NAPSI
Namaskar.
Conversation
Namaskar.
Series. And we have Professor Rajkumar, sir, who is a
Namaskar.
well-known faculty from Lucknow University, and Professor Sudhakar ji, who is a former vice chancellor and renowned faculty from Visakhapatnam, Andhra University. Let me introduce first Professor Anup Bharti ji. Anup Bharti ji is a professor at UGC Center for Studies in Social Work and Center for Excellence in Department of Social Work, University of Lucknow. He is a very, very experienced faculty, like supervised more than 15 PhDs and supervising also and postdoctoral fellowships, many projects in hand, member of various committees as expert in lot of action research projects, and he is also member of the Learning Outcome Curriculum Framework undergraduate course of UGC Grant Commission, New Delhi. And he is also part of many commissions like UP Public Service Commission, MP Public Service Commission, and so on. He's also had a lot of responsibilities in at departmental level, at university level. He's also deputy director of the Human Resource Development Academic Staff College at University of Lucknow, and so on. There is a long list. I think if I'll introduce him, so I think there is a long time, but I think this is the brief. I just want to tell him very welcome, Anup ji. I think he's a role model, very young, energetic professor of Lucknow University, most popular. Recently, he was the convener of the Indian Social Work Congress also. So, very welcome to all of you. And let me also take up Professor Bhatt, who is the president of NAPSUI, because this is the vision of his that he has taken up this topic, which is very useful for all the university faculties and institutions of social work. So, over to you, Professor Bhatt, sir.
Thank you, Prasant, and welcome to the panelists and key speakers of today's conversation, along with the moderator of the program. So, welcome Professor S.P. Sudhakar, welcome Professor Rajkumar Singh, and welcome Professor Anup K. Bhartiya. I'm really very happy to see all of you today in this studio. And for the viewers, I would like to inform them that the University Grant Commission has constituted a committee to prepare LOCF, Learning Outcome Based Curriculum Framework in Social Work for undergraduate courses. And Professor Rajkumar Singh was the chairperson of that committee. Equally well, the Professor S.P. Sudhakar, who happened to be the Vice Chancellor of 3 universities, in one or other way, he has established a new central university as officer in charge. And Professor Sudhakar was also the member of that. There are two other members to whom I could not invite in the studio because of my some limitations. But I must thank them before I start this program, Professor M.N. Parmar and Dr. Jyoti Kakkar. So the another member is with us, Professor Anup K. Bharti. LOCF is a part of our new higher education system, and as you many of you know, might have noticed that there is a continuous change in the higher education. We have came from a conventional annual based examination to the semester based examination. Then in the semester based examination we came CBCS, choice based credit system. Then in choice based credit system we came LOCF. And today, in that background, we are very interested to know that LOCF is being prepared for the undergraduate. LOCF is in process for probably for the postgraduate courses. But what will happen after the post-corona situation? So we have invited these guests to answer some of our doubts, some of our queries, as well as to share their vision about LOCF in after Corona. Will there be a change, or if change is required, what kind of change is required? So I once again welcome both the professors and moderator and host of this program, Professor Anup Bharti. And on behalf of NAPSWI and my own, I welcome them, and I request Professor Bharti to take the conversation forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Namaskar and good evening to everyone. Now, it is a very important topic on the LOCF, Learning Outcome-Based Curriculum Framework for Social Work Education, post-Corona scenario. So, welcome and thank you for being here today. I feel immense pleasure and feel proud. I'm a participate in these important conversation. And we have the two eminent speakers on the particular topic, Professor Rajkumar Singh from the University of Lucknow and the Professor S. V. Sudhakar from the Andhra Pradesh and Visakhapatnam. It is a very 11th conversation series of the NAPSWI, organized by the professor, especially the Professor Sanjay Bhatt and the organizing team members. My sincerely thanks to the everyone. Now, before starting the conversation series, my responsibility to introduce both the speakers. One, the speaker, Professor Rajkumar Singh ji, and the Professor S. V. Sudhakar. So, in very brief, I introduce the first speaker, Professor Rajkumar Singh ji, from the University of Lucknow. Professor Rajkumar Singh is an alumnus of the University of Lucknow and Professor of Social Work at UGC Center for Advanced Studies in Social Work and the Center of Excellence UP Higher Education Council, Government of Uttar Pradesh, Department of Social Work, University of Lucknow. He is a researcher, practitioner, and has been teaching social work to graduate, postgraduate, and research students for over 3 decades, more than 3 decades. He has edited a number of the books and has developed the self-learning material for the state open universities and more than 2 dozen papers, articles, book reviews, and the seminar reports to his credit. More than 20 PhD students and postdoc in the he has participated in several international seminars, etc. Professor Singh is a very disciplined person. He discharged several important positions in the university corporate life. At some key the record social no chief coordination student here the university also at a national member of the governing body, the State Center, Uttar Pradesh Literacy House, Lucknow, member of the Institutional Committee for Stem Cell Research, SGPGI, of Medical Sciences, Lucknow, member of the expert panel, UP State Higher Education Council, Government of Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, and he's a chairperson of the UGC committee constituted by the UGC, particularly on the learning outcome based curriculum framework on the undergraduate courses. He is a member of the Committee on the Extension of Autonomous Status of the Madras School of the Social Work, Chennai. He is a member of the governing body School of Social Work, Rosni Nilay, Bangalore. And presently, he is a director of the Institute of the Human Consciousness and Basic Sciences of Lucknow, and the coordinator of the MPhil self-financing program of the Department of the Social Work. He is the president of the Lucknow University Teachers Staff Class and the various academic bodies and professional bodies. Professor Singh was awarded Ambassador for the Peace by the National Peace Foundation, New Delhi. It is a very brief introduction of the Professor Rajkumar Singh. I welcome you, sir, on the behalf of the NAPSWI, New Delhi. And the second, a very eminent speaker with us, Professor S. V. Sudhakar, sir. S.V. Sudhakar is a very eminent scholar in the field of the social work. Sudhakar sir, during the years 1976-78, did his post-graduation in social work and subsequently PhD from Andhra Pradesh University, Visakhapatnam. In the year 1985, he joined as assistant professor and later became associate professor and professor in 1998 in the Department of Social Work, Andhra University. At an early age, he became head of the department and chairman, Board of Studies in Social Work. Professor Sudhakar, fundamentally a teacher in social work, community organization, social action, disaster management. He was specialized in the area of criminology and the correctional administration. He was also uh, engaged with the teaching and research on criminology, family, child, and youth welfare. He works and dwells in the contemporary social issues for his research. Professor Sudhakar is a strong believer and the practitioner of the social work methodology. He has deep concern for the social transformation and social change, particularly in uh, the, the vulnerable and the poorer communities. He is associated with the number of voluntary and the social service action groups in general and other disadvantaged groups, in particular for their advancement and the progress. He received awards and honors both in academic and social circles. In addition, he also worked on the research project on street children, girl child prostitution, farmer societies, tsunami victims, etc., which were supported by the Ministry of Social Justice, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, UNICEF. He has street farmer in Adil, published research articles in international and national journals, participated papers in several international conferences, seminar, shop, etc. Continuously supervised research scholar awarded MPhils and PhDs, conducted the evaluation of the government programs and NGO programs. Professor Sudhakar actively associated with the several academic and professional bodies such as the Board of Studies, Selections Committees, AP State Council, Higher Education, Service Commissions, UGC, Professional Association, etc. Professor Sudhakar earned vast experience in the university administration. He discharged several important positions in the university, which include like dean, officer on special duty, UGC coordinator, warden, etc. Professor Sudhakar was awarded with the prestigious Commonwealth, very important Commonwealth Fellowship, and worked at the School of Social Sciences, Cardiff University, Cardiff, UK. He submitted a report on juvenile justice system in India, and during his stay in the UK, he studied the various social issues and the subjects like the social work, probation, youth courts, young offending teams, etc. He interacted with several academic and the field expert in this area at different institutions and the universities, including the Oxford, Cambridge, Swansea, Birmingham, Cardiff, Glamorgan, etc. He visited several countries on academic matter. He was the founder of Vice Chancellor of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Srikakulam, Andhra Pradesh, and also the former in charge Vice Chancellor of Andhra Pradesh University, Visakhapatnam. He was also the Executive Council member for the Guru Ghasidas Central University, Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. On 31st July 2020, he retired from the university service as a professor of social work. I welcome you, sir, once again on the behalf of the NEFC on this special topic, particularly the learning outcome-based curriculum framework for social work education post-corona scenario. The conversation series basically I want to classify it or start into three basic sections. First half or the first section, I will talk to the question to the Professor Rajkumar Singh, and second one is the Professor Sudhakar sir, and third one is a common question to both the speakers to give the answer. To be given the answer, and finally after that, after the conversation, we will take some specific questions related to the particular topic from the viewer. So the first question to the Professor Rajkumar Singh, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in my point of view, I have the idea about the particular before the 16 and 17 years back, the University Grant Commission had published one report on the CDR 2001, and the after that the University Grant Commission once again to appoint as chairman of the committee of the on the LOCF, particularly the undergraduate courses. So we want to know to you because the most of the viewers are just like a layman. I have no idea about the LOCF. What is the LOCF? What is the basic purpose of the LOCF? What is the basic approach behind that the LOCF? And what is the structure of the LOCF? So we want to know you to you what is LOCF and what is the main purpose and approach towards the LOCF.
Thank you, Nubji. You have put up a very good question. As you have already mentioned that there was one CDR report by the UGC in 2001, and an exercise was done by the eminent and senior social workers of this country to present a model draft of curriculum to be followed by the university, keeping in their local characteristics in the mind. That curriculum was circulated to the universities, including our university, University of Lucknow also. And most of the postgraduate education is being imparted on the recommendations given by the UGC through its Curriculum Development Report 2001. Since time has elapsed and there is always innovation in the knowledge. Knowledge has no boundaries. Due to technological changes, scientific inventions, the knowledge is always changing. And any profession, including social work one also, had to change itself, keeping the changing scenario in the area of the knowledge and also the societal demands which come in the fore. In view of the new scenario, new problems, new kinds of needs, new kinds of employment opportunities. So any profession has to keep abreast to the existing development and foresee what is going to come in the basket in the future. Social work as a profession is no exception. Many other professions they have been doing revising, revisiting their course structure. UGC, I think this was the background that UGC mandated for the LOCF. It was somewhere, if I correctly remember, recollect, that in June 2018, meeting was held at the UGC with the chairpersons of the different committees, with the chairperson of the UGC. And in that meeting, the idea was mooted, the objective was LOCF was told. Since Professor Bhatt has already mentioned that we have been following the semester pattern, a lot of examination related reforms have taken place at the PG level. But at the UG level, in most of the universities, we have been following the annual pattern of the examination and teaching. So, to effect the changes also, the UGC thought that it would be appropriate to go for the new model draft of the syllabi. LOCF, as you know, that now the concern in the higher education system is on the quality education. Quantitatively, we have expanded a lot. Even in social work, we have many more institutions. The number of the students have gone very large. The number of educational institutions has risen. But so far it comes to the quality, there is a great interrogation mark. So now the concern of the UGC is how to impart the quality education to the aspirants. And this was in the backdrop that the idea of the LOCF was mooted by the UGC. LOCF basically mandates that whosoever is awarded a degree by any higher education institution, that degree should be awarded on the basis of certain achievable performances. As the nomenclature suggests, learning outcomes based curriculum framework. So this is a framework which will provide a direction, a guideline to the higher education institutions that how they should revise their syllabus, what should be the content of the syllabus, how they should go to the examination system, how should they assess and evaluate their students. And moreover, the approach adapted in the LOCF is that so far the approach has been teacher centric. Now it is the student centric. In many universities and institutions, the method of teaching adapted was the one side, that is the lecture method by the teachers. Now, the LOCF emphasizes on the participatory teaching learning material. Then again, this mandates a quest for the lifelong learning among the students. So this way, the UGC has given a mandate that LOCF should be adapted. And moreover, it is a model draft. I underscore the model draft. It is a kind of mandate from the UGC, but it leaves enough scope for the universities, for the colleges, for the schools of social work that they can adjust the syllabi with their local conditions, with their own characteristics prevailing in the institutions. So, in short, this is with this purpose that LOCF has been given a mandate.
Uh, Thank you very much, sir. You are enlightening the very important aspects of the LOCF, particularly the main purpose and the approaches towards to the LOCF, and the
Right.
describe and well explained the philosophical base of the LOCF, particularly the student-centric teaching and learning methodology. Another question, in my point
I
of view.
think Anup, it will be more clear if I read the vision and mission of the LOCF,
Sure,
which
sir.
we have
Sure, sir.
which we have incorporated in social work. Actually,
Sure,
the
sir.
entire philosophy has been guided by three basic core elements. These core elements are quality education, then outcome oriented higher education system, which prepares the students at par with the national and international standards in a competitive world. And third one is that it is the unique characteristics of the India, that roughly we have the 50% of the population which is under the age of 25 years. So we have to prepare the youngster, the young professionals, which may compete at the national international level. So that is these are basic three core elements which have been the guiding force in preparation of the LOCF. Then if we go by the vision and mission, I think things will be more clear. Vision of the LOCF is the LOCF social work envisions the creation of a just and humane environment, a just and humane environment where professionally trained social workers having a quest for lifelong learning and deeper sense of service help people in enhancing their capacity and efficacy in finding the lasting solutions to their problems and fulfillment of their diversified needs, and thus towards making the world livable in a free and fair manner in harmony with the nature. So every word which has been incorporated in the vision of the LOCF social work has its own meaning and own importance. So if we go by the vision of the LOCF, the things are very much clear. Then if we go about the mission of the learning outcome-based curriculum framework for social work is to ensure quality education. I repeat, quality education to the aspirants, forcing the developmental trends in higher education, incorporating multidisciplinary skills, making professional education and practice of social work more attractive, preparing the youth for lifelong learning in a competitive world, and ultimately increasing the chances of their employability. Ultimately, increasing the chances of their employability on the one hand, and shaping their personality to take up new challenges, new assignment, and new responsibilities comfortably. Taking new challenges, new responsibility, new assignments comfortably. On the other, and thus ultimately contributing to the mitigation of the problems of the suffering humanity. So the vision and mission is very clearly laid down, and it speaks a volume for the profession of social work.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Naturally, but definitely the vision and the mission is very clear about the social work education for the undergraduate curriculum. So
Yes.
another thing is the any curriculum, the assessment and the evaluation is very important because the uh, the learning outcome which is based on the assessment and the evaluation, of particularly specifically the is, for the students. So the next question on behalf of the NAPSV, what system of assessment and evaluation will be adopted in the LOCF?
Right, Anupji. The system of assessment and the evaluation will be comprehensive under the LOCF. What we have been following at the postgraduate level in many of the universities, the semester pattern and continuous assessment of the students. In this system also, the entire system has been distributed in two, three parts. First, what we have done that every paper will be of the 100 marks theory paper, and this 100 marks will be divided into 80-20. 80 marks will be allotted for the external evaluation, that is the mid semester end examination, and 20 marks will be allotted to the internal assessment in the form of assignment, class presentation, and class participation. 10 marks for the assignment, 5 marks for the presentation, and 5 marks for the class participation. So this 80-20 ratio shall be followed. We have recommended. Then again, there will be the field work that is also that should also be evaluated both internally and externally. Then, keeping in view the research aspect of the curriculum, there will be project report, there will be rural camp, and marks will be allotted for each category of the syllabi, part of the syllabi. The idea is that students should not be only evaluated and assessed at the end of the semester, rather, it should be a continuous process so that the involvement, the engagement of the student is all around.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. You have
Yes.
described in well the assessment and evaluation pattern of the LOCF for the undergraduate course. So, you know, sir, you are a chairman of that committee constituted by the UGC, and the earlier CDR report was published by the UGC portal in 2001. So, sir, I want to know to you why this exercise of LCF has been undertaken, and is there any departure from the CDR 2001, or is there any difference between the two, the CDR 2001, or the any similarities between the CDR 2001 and the LCF, or the it is an extension part of the CDR 2001?
Well, Anupji, I don't think there is no any clear cut boundary between the two exercises, because every exercise is done in the term of preference of time, of place, and of the trends which are taking place in the society. That was the time when the senior educators and prominent social work educators did that exercise. But as I have mentioned earlier, most of the syllabus, most of the recommendations we followed at the university level, they were for the PG students. Now this exercise is being done for the UG students, and the idea is that if the students, due to any reason, don't get an opportunity for the higher education, for the postgraduate studies, then this should be a terminating point, and our students should be well prepared to take up the challenges, to take up the responsibility, to take up the assignment in the society. So naturally, that has been kept in mind, and the emphasis is more laid on the quality aspect of the education. If you see, even if you read, even if you experience, you might have experienced, and all of we experience. that we are churning a number of students, thousands of students each year from the universities, from the colleges, from the higher education institutions. Quantity is okay, but when it comes to the quality, we have again a very big interrogation mark. So, how to provide the quality education is the concern of the UGC, the concern of the MHRD. So, the very centric focal point of this exercise is the provision of the quality education. In terms of the graduate attributes, the program attributes, for example, knowledge, understanding, values, ethics, guiding principles, and attitudes. So all these attributes have been incorporated in the LOCF so that if we award a degree to the students, you might have experienced and heard at the time of convocation when the deans award the degree to their faculty students, they say that you should prove that you deserve for this degree throughout your life. So whatever degree we are going to provide to the students should able that they actually deserve for this degree. So that is the basic mandate of the UGC under the LOCF.
Thank you very much, sir. No doubt, you described well, and the students will prove the whole life after got the degree. The next question to the Professor Sudhakar, sir. Sir, you are an eminent scholar and you are a practitioner, as a researcher, and you have a lot of experience in the field of the social, particularly the criminology and criminal justice administration. And you are the esteemed the member of that committee. Sir, we want to know you what process was adopted to finalize the draft of the LOCF. It is just like a similar to the previous question, but in your point of view, the exact process was adopted by the UGC or the committee members.
Thank you, Professor Anup. Before answering your question, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to NAPSRI for giving me an opportunity to associate with this conversation. And in fact, a few minutes back, our Professor Rajkumar Singh explained about the various aspects of LOC. Actually, I'm very much happy that he projected the concept of LOCF in such a way that anyone who ever listens to this definitely can understand the concept of LOCF. Adding to this, actually, when I remember during 2010 or so, the UGC has conducted All India Vice Chancellor Conference. And during that particular time, the UGC insisted about the quality education, especially taking the examples of various other international institutions. In fact, LOCF is not originated in India, as I read it. It is the very famous international universities have already adopted the LOCF, and they thought that the quality education should be given only through the LOCF. So, taking that concept, I think the UGC also adopted the LOCF to Indian context also. So, the LOCF not exclusively for social workers. Actually, when we conducted the LOCF meetings in UGC campus, and several other courses, subjects also participated in the LOCF of their own subjects. LOCF chemistry, LOCF English, something like that. But anyway, the most important point here is the UGC insisted on the quality education. Then coming to the other aspect, in terms of our Professor Rajkumar said about the valuation part. I would like to say about the social work. Actually, the whole of social work LOCF divided into 3,300 marks. Okay, and out of
In
that,
total.
2,000 yes, 2,200 marks are allocated to the theory papers, and 1,100 marks allocated to the field work. That means field work consists of almost one third of the total marks. So this is how the student can get not only more marks but the exposure. The student will get more exposure in the area of the field work and all these things. So that is how I think the LOCF concept has come, and really the LOCF. What I feel today we are sowing the seed. Now you can see the result in future. Definitely, I hope in coming years the students who have undergone this process of LOCF definitely they would perform much better in their own subjects later on. This is what I feel.
Thank you, sir. And definitely, you highlight
Then one more before I answer your questions. One more is uh, here the our theme LOCA for social work during Corona times. I mean
post-corona
our
scenario.
yes post Corona. But
Yes.
now what I feel is uh, it is instead of post corona period, I feel it is during corona period is most appropriate, because nobody knows about when the corona period will going to end for that. Definitely it will be there forever, as our Delhi chief minister Kejriwal and many other distinguished people said. We have to live with the corona for many more years and many more periods also.
Sure, sir.
This is
Sure, sir.
only
We will.
a suggestion. This is only a suggestion. This not, doesn't matter to anything related.
Sure, sir. We will discuss this matter already in future also, because
Yes,
everybody know about this is a corona pandemic era, and the
yes,
after that
yes, yes.
we will live with the corona pandemic. So what is the future the aspects of the social work education for the particular the graduate and the postgraduate level, and the both the different levels. So, sir, I remember that because I was a member of that committee. The UGC has constituted I think the 35 and 37 undergraduate courses to for the LOCF, Learning Outcome
Yes.
Curriculum Framework committee for the undergraduate level. The next question, sir, it is how social work education at undergraduate level will be implemented. What do you think about that, sir?
Yes. Actually, this is most important point because unless we strengthen our grassroots level, especially the social profession will not sustain the future. I think LOCF definitely will be useful for the social work profession, especially because the undergraduate students. Because so far, as our Professor Rajkumar Singh very clearly elaborated uh, in the earlier patterns, but now today we are giving more opportunity to the students to have more of a quality education, and the quality education definitely makes the students to get better opportunity in the future. But my point here is, when you think about the LOCF undergraduate program, we have different structures in our Indian society. You have different schools at different levels. For example, the metro cities and the cosmopolitan cities, where I feel the BSW and undergraduate social work level is very strong. But take the same subject at other rural areas or martial areas or in tribal areas, it is not that strong as these places. So now, though we are on the other one way, we are talking about the quality education, but really in other areas we are unable to provide that type of quality education. Maybe because of the various issues involved. Uh, I there is a problem. For example, in different states, I have seen there is no uniform pattern of student admissions. The eligibility criteria is different. The examination pattern is different. The teacher recruitment policy itself is different. And moreover, I see in these places there is a deterioration of social courses in these places. And slowly in these places, the social work subject is disappearing. That is my worry. So therefore, now this is a good platform. This is a conversation where we can, because many people are following the subject and they can give their own ideas how to strengthen the undergraduate social work program at different other places. Okay, this is what I say.
Very well done, sir. You described in well. The next question to you, sir, what hurdles will come in the implementation of the social work education at undergraduate
Yes.
level?
Yes.
Anup, may I intervene?
Sure, sir.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
I think before Professor Sudhakar takes this question, either you or professors should come out with the characteristic features of the LOCF exercise in social work, so that the viewers may know that what we have incorporated and how it will be a unique piece of the curriculum framework.
Why
Like,
not, sir? Sure.
so would you like to comprehend, Professor Sudhakar or myself?
As you wish, sir.
Yes,
Professor Sudhakar,
the elective
you want to tell?
Yes. So the hurdles, I would like to answer now, Anu. The hurdles,
hurdles
what
and
I
the
feel is,
incorporate the
yes.
silent features of the LOCF also, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
What?
You're talking about the hurdles and the
Yes,
silent features of the LOCF, both, sir.
Okay. I think the salient features, I think our Professor Rajkumar Singh will explain for that. I'll talk about this hurdles point of view.
Oh, it's okay, sir. It's all right. Okay.
Right. The hurdles, especially the LOCF social work, I mean, during the Corona time, I visualize it differently. That I would like to present here now. Now, the first and foremost problem is the admission into social work program. It is not. I think in the places like the metro cities and all these things, you get the social work students directly. But in other areas, the areas what I mentioned, there I think that there will be a problem because of this Corona effect. Because in fact, many parents spoke to me the other day also. Sir, we are interested to join our students in social work, but what happened to this Corona time? Now, because of the coronavirus, we are unable to we are unable to take a decision whether we can make our children to join the social work or not. So, therefore, this would be a very serious problem. I think we'll have less number of students joining in the social work and the undergraduate. This is what one I visualize. Maybe it's maybe true or may not. I don't know. Then the other one is about the social work undergraduate level LOCF. What about this? Its implication, its implementation in the containment zones. Containment zones. You have a containment zones in the corona areas. So we have a number of institutions. I have calculated. So I have calculated how many schools are there in the containment zones. How about the students going to those places and taking the coursework and all these things? In this context, many people are suggesting that there is an online system. system also. I don't think this online system is suitable to all the parts of the society. It is definitely strong in the other metropolitan cities, but definitely in other places it is not that, because I have seen those institutions even do not have minimum facility. This is another hurdle. Then, then another hurdle is that risk factor. As I said, many parents, they are unable to send their children to social work because they feel there is a risk element. So when I send my child to the social work course, they move with they interact with the different people, and they may get this corona and all these things. That's human psychology. But now in this context, the students face that an risk factor. So how to come out from the risk factor? This is another problem. Then, then about the field work, implementation of field work. Okay, especially when you look at our LOCF social work, it is divided into 3 years and 6 semesters. And in the first semester, you have a field work theory, and in the second semester, you have the observation visits. That fine, it is okay. But what happened to the third and fourth semester onward? And the third, fourth semester onwards, of course, we should not think about the third, fourth semester now itself, because we have still one more year to complete that. So therefore, I think this academic year, instead of worrying about the coming 3 years, I think it is better to think about one year, one academic year, how the first year students will be placed in all these things. I think up to 2021, no problem. Then only 21-22 academic year only, I think the implementation of the social field work becomes a problem for our social work. Then another important is that the how to place our students in community based areas. This is another problem. Okay. Now, because we are unable to move to those places, so therefore, what other alternate fieldwork arrangements we can make? And sometimes we can make our students associate with various NGOs, interacting with NGOs activities, so that they learn where the social workers associated with the NGOs, there they can be supervisors for our social work students, something like that. This is another area. Then I think to solve these particular problems, I think now this is time to prepare certain short films also on various social worker themes, so that these short films will help our students to know, understand the reality of the field work. I think these are the few hurdles I look at about the field work in terms of the corona times.
Uh, right, sir. You have explained very briefly, but particularly during the Corona times pandemic. Sir, before the new questions to you, I request to the Professor Rajkumar Singh kindly include the salient features of the LOCF in this conversation.
Okay, no, many other things have already been deliberated upon. But what I want to highlight is that in the structure of the course curriculum of the LOCF, we have given the more choices to the students. Like there are core papers which UD student has to read. Then there we have incorporated two ability enhancement compulsory courses, AECCC. One is related to the communicative English, and then second is the social work practice and media information literacy. So these are the two ability enhancement papers or courses in the LOCF language. Then we have the elective courses. Elective courses the students can after as per the university choice also. Then we have the fieldwork practice, which is a unique component for the undergraduate level students. And from the very first semester, we are keeping this fieldwork component intact throughout all the 6 semesters. Then we have again skill enhancement courses, SEC. We have two papers. One is the program media and its application, and second is the skill development and entrepreneurship. Then we have DSC, discipline specific electives. Uh, we have various electives like health issues and concern, disaster management, environment, social work, social deviance, NGO and project formulation, counseling and guidance. Then we have dissertation and viva voce and social work and marginalized population. We have included like marginalized population like new LGBTQ, etc. Then we have included under these elected the corporate social responsibilities and the social work with differently abled or the Divyangjan. So these are the some salient features which in the earlier reports were not there. So I think now the basket of choice for the student is much more larger. Then again, UGC has mandated about the MOOCs courses. Even if somebody earns marks through the MOOC program, 20% of the marks can be added. So there is no bar of the stream. For example, a student of social work, if interested, can go to the physics, can go to the commerce, can go to the education department, and if he takes a certificate, valid certificate, then their marks will be added in this course. Again, there is a flexibility of the local conditions. The universities, colleges, and higher education institutions, they can go for the 70% of the input from the LOCF mandated by the UGC and 30% as per their local conditions. So there is a much more flexibility for the institutions also. That's what I wanted to add.
Thank you very much. You have highlighted the main features of the silent features of the LOCF, sir. Sir, the next
Right.
question
And
to the Professor Sudhakar, sir.
here I would
Professor,
like to add some.
Sure,
You
sure,
have
sure.
add any something, sir?
Professor Anup, here I would like to add some more expected outcomes. That is
Sure,
what
sir.
we have incorporated in the report also.
Sure.
Then, just I'll read few things. And this expected outcome will bring the students able to understand social work profession and demonstrate familiarity with case work, group work, community work, and it will help to understand the programs and the projects of government and non-government organizations, then able to understand the sociological concepts of the notions of the society, economics, political framework, and this will able the students able to understand the concepts related to psychology, social psychology, and able to understand the concept of manifestation of social problems, and able to understand issues involved in the counseling, able to understand the problems of the human rights and all these things. These are also added in our LOCF social work report.
It means the LOCF to cover all the aspects and all the dimensions of the social work education. So
Yes.
this is our next question to Professor Sudhakar, sir. Sir, it's a today's the COVID era, pandemic era, and a lot of the debate on the different subjects, including the social work education. So some school of the thoughts, sir, of the social work education are demanding and focusing the social work education should be studied at the postgraduate level or the graduate level only, because there is no employment opportunities to undergraduate pass out students, and the lack of the skill and the lack of the specific knowledge about the social work profession. And the other hand, the most of the neglect the doctoral level because the most of the researchers are the fake, or the research are being done is useless, or the lack of the quality and the other things. So whereas there is a side that says that a graduate degree plays a very important role. One another aspect is very important, sir. Role in the building of the social work profession. So in this context, what is your opinion about
Ah.
that, sir?
My opinion is that, as you rightly pointed out, because the what I observed in many institutions, but in fact, the place where I work, there we don't have in campus this BSW program. But I don't know much about the BSW program in the campus itself. But our university, other different aged colleges have this social work developed. But what I observed, when the undergraduate students come to the postgraduate level, almost the subject what they studied at undergraduate level, they are repeating at the postgraduate level. This is one point. So what happens here? The students of those BSW and all these things, they feel that they have more knowledge about the whole social work. And on the other time, on the other side, the admission process where we give not only to the BSW students, other students also join in the MSW program. BSc students or law students and other students also we give eligibility for them also. So therefore, now there is a dichotomy between these BSW students and the other non-BSW students. Because of that gap, what happens many a times, so the performance of the student, especially BSW, is going down because what they feel that already I know that, so I need not to study again the casework, group work, and all these things. So they are neglecting, and the performance of the new other candidates are much better than these BSW students. This is what I observed. I may not, this may not be the truth in other areas. I don't know. But anyway, now in this context, what I feel is that even at the BSW level, at the MSW level, there must be a kind of at least some reservation. Also, reservation in the sense some seats should be allocated to non-social work students also. So therefore, there will be a competition between the BSW students as well as the MSW students. Okay, so this is what I feel. But now, in terms of the employment also, what I feel here is, as you said, that today the BSW students are not getting any opportunity at the recruitment. But now only postgraduates are getting. But on the other side, look at the government acts or the provision GOs where they specifically mentioned for certain positions graduates are the preferring, not the postgraduates. For example, there is a child ICDS, CDPOs. So in the CDPOs, there is in Andhra Pradesh I have seen, in the CDPOs recruitment, there is a provision for BSW students for these positions rather than the MS social worker students. And there is an objection. The BSW students objected when you take this MSW student, they are not eligible. The eligibility is BA level. So therefore, in such situations, we have to check that GOs also. The government should change that. So instead of providing the employment to the BSWs, they think that there eligibility should be given to the master's level. So this is I think in the political situation we cannot, even though we are representing the matter, but they are unable to understand it. But still, this problem is there. So therefore, in certain sections, so what they say in certain institutions, they run only the social work at the graduate level. They are not running the postgraduate level. This is the situation.
And so, what about the doctoral level, sir?
Doctoral level also, sir, doctoral level also, now what I feel is there is a mushroom growth of the PhDs. Even the other, today in our own department, we have almost 40 students with a PhD. They are unable to get any position now, any employment. 40 PhD students, not students, they are PhD holders. So, only they go to, they can given only employment in the teaching side. So how many the doctorate students will get the employment? One or two. So what about the 38 students remaining? So they are not getting. So therefore, there should be a restriction of the even admission for the PhDs also. So that is not followed now. I'm not referring to all the institutions. I'm referring to few institutions. There is a mushroom. Even one supervisor will have 10 to 15 PhD students at one time. So how you expect that the teacher will guide all of them? Isn't it? So that is why in the PhD admissions also, what I feel is there should be not more than 5 or not more than 3, something like that. So it is especially even in the social work field I'm looking at. Even I have seen even when I went to other interview boards where I have seen many students with PhDs are coming, but they are not getting any employment. Only 1 or 2 getting. But what happens to those people? So therefore, instead of producing more number of PhD and all these things, there should be a strict control over that.
Right, sir. It is a very serious matter nowadays. Professor Singh, can you add something else about this?
Well, Anup, we have been in many institutions, and this kind of scenario is prevailing everywhere, I think. With the UGC regulations, there is some restrictions on the production of the PhD because they have specified the number of PhDs for professor, associate professor, and assistant professor. So let us hope for better, but the situation is not good enough. But sometimes there is a question that can we deprive anybody from the higher education? If the person is not getting the employment, should we deprive him of the education? So there are some ethical questions also. But moreover, it is the political will that will determine. We as the
Yes.
teachers have little say, I think. Professor Sudhakar said that there was enrollment of 25 students under one supervisor.
Yeah.
I have the example where more than 100 students were enrolled under one teacher. So this is an unending story. But I think there should be some self-enforced discipline, which
Yes.
as a teacher or a student, a researcher in social work, we have to enforce ourselves.
Yes.
I think rest is okay. I should not deliberate upon much. I have
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
produced 5 PhDs so far.
Yeah, that's yes,
Anyhow,
sir. But
More,
is that
more qualitative PhDs.
I have tried, yes.
of course, sir. It is about the moral ethics, sir.
Yes,
So the next
sure.
question to Professor Singh. Sir, you know the social work is a dynamic profession and are always endeavors to respond to fresh challenges. Located in the very depth of the social cultural milieu, it is very existence depends on the response to a changing context. So my question is like some school of the thoughts which is emphasizing or the demanding on the indigenization of in these days, particularly social work education. So, what is your the reaction or the opinion about that, sir?
Anup, could you tell me what is meant by the indigenization in social work?
Sir, it is just like the social work because the many things, the many peoples defined in
Right.
different ways, sir.
Anup, I agree with such teachers. I extend them full honor because everybody has his own perspective. By indigenization, I think whether we are talking about at the social work or professional social work, we have to demarcate the very clearly. Because if we talk of the social service, then there has been a very old tradition of social service in India. And even the professional social work came out of the social service. And even when we teach the social work, professional social work, can we leave Mahatma Gandhi? We teach about the grassroots social work. We teach about the Gandhian social work. So I think Indianization is very much in the very concept of the social work. But if some enthusiastic teachers and researchers, they want to add, who is preventing them? I have already told that even this LOCF give 30% leverage to the institutions, to the schools, to the colleges. They can incorporate themselves. And those
Yes.
teachers who have been given representation, I, with full due respect, I beg pardon, that who is preventing you if you want, because ultimately it is the board of studies, it is the faculty board, it is the academic council who is going to finalize the syllabi of a particular institutions. So if you want to add, if you want to incorporate certain portion or certain philosopher, certain thinker preventing to you, this was also, there were also representations as the UGC has given, you remember UGC has given a public notice. In response to the
Yes.
first public notice, there was no response from any quarter from throughout the country.
Well,
But then
country.
again, when we hold the meeting at Lucknow, we should decided that we should give one notice from our side, and we are obliged to Professor Sanjay Bhatt, the president of the NAFSRI, that he circulated our notice again. Then we received certain comments and responses, and to the maximum level, we try to incorporate them. So I think there is nothing harm in the Indianization, but we have to do a lot of work for that. We have to read and study the Mahabharata. We have to read and study the Gita. We have to read and study the Ramcharitmanas, the Ramayana, the Upanishads, the Vedas. Only then we can come out with certain. Even, but there also, whenever we talk about the professional social work, there is a clear and demarcated line between the professional social work and social service.
Very good answer, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes,
Professor
I
Sudhakar,
also
sir,
agree with. Yes, I also agree with Professor Rajkumar Singh on this subject, on this context, because
Okay.
see, when we didn't get any response from any organization or individual when we introduced this LOES and all these things, and as he said that we ourselves asked our president to introduce all these things. Similarly, when I was involved in this process of this LOCF, in fact, I tried to contact many of our professional social workers to give me more number of feedback. So what could be incorporated? A comprehensive report we wanted to bring it, and I suggested them. I asked them to give more information, but nothing I could get it. Nothing I could get it. But on the other way, they speak a lot about it. But at one point, they don't answer to these questions. Anyway.
Okay. Thank you, Vishnu. Already we have crossed the time. Now the 5:10 p.m. We have only the two questions for the both the speakers. In a very short, sir, how implementation of the LOCF will be helpful in mitigation of the problems of people affected by COVID-19? Professor Singh.
You know that the social work is a serving profession, and from its very inception, we as the professional have been serving to the society, particularly to the marginalized, vulnerable, and weaker sections of the society. There are a number of uncertainties during this corona period. What will happen and what will not happen? When it will be over or it will not be over. I told my teachers that a large demand for the 10 professional social worker was after the aftermath of the Second World War. So even during the corona period and after corona period, many more incidences will take place. You have just seen the plight of the migrant workers. There will be many more issues in the days to come. There will be supply and demand imbalance. The workers who have been withdrawn from the cities, from the megapolis or metropolis city, there will be shortage of the labor force. Again, the workers who have joined there near and dear at the village level, there will be also the social and family issues. And in these situations, economic issues are already there. Employment issues are already there. in these situations, I think the role of social worker will be crucial, very crucial. And social worker have to respond to these emerging and new kind of situations. As Professor Sudhakar was saying that there is a very much parents are very much anxious about the admission of their wards in social work. Well, I know, लेकिन एक वो कहावत है कि रहमन यो घर प्रेम का खाला का घर ना शीश उतारे हाथ धरे तब बैठे घर में आए. So it is very difficult to become a social worker. It's very difficult. I am reminded of the statement of Professor R.R. Singh way back in 1992 when I joined for a refresher course. He told at that time that during the entire 35 years of service, he has found only one social worker, only one student who is really the social worker. I could not control myself. I asked, sir, who is responsible for this? But now at this stage, I think Professor Singh was right. So to produce the good social worker is a very difficult task. And the students who don't have this much of courage to go to the people, to go into the difficult situation, to help the people in the crisis situation, they should not opt for the social work. So I think the role of the social worker, role of social teachers, role of social worker will be much more demanding, will be much more crucial in the days to come.
Yes, Professor Bhatt.
No, I just want to remind that I was looking at the live comments, and it's a matter of a very great pleasure for all of us that Professor Brijmohan is watching the program
Yes,
from
yes,
America.
yes.
And he has asked a question, what special competencies social work has to combat coronavirus? So we welcome Professor Brijmohan and we leave the question to Professor Sudhakar and to all the panelists to respond to him. I just wanted to inform this. Please.
Sir, with due respect, I want to add that social work is a competence-based and skill-based profession. So we have to skill our students. And with the type of the syllabus we have framed, we have tried to frame, will definitely help the student to inculcate the values of the social work, the ethics of the social work, the attitude of the social work. And that will be helpful in not controlling, but working in the different position with the different organization, networking with the different organizations. Even in the medical and psychiatric social work, there will be large of demand. And I think our students can be of best use if they are already equipped. Again say, if they are well equipped. Because before knowing the tactics of the war, one should not jump in the war. So before jumping to the war, we have to prepare ourselves. Our students have to prepare themselves thoroughly.
Professor Sudhakar, sir?
Actually, if you look at our LOCF mission, there very clearly we have mentioned that the LOCF for social work prepares the youth for lifelong learning and shaping their responsibility to take new challenges, new assignments, and new responsibilities, and thus ultimately contributing in the mitigation of the problems of suffering humanity. Interestingly, this mission was framed much before the emergence of a coronavirus. But as a social workers, always we indulge in challenging situations. I feel our LOCF mission is most appropriate and suitable to the present day COVID-19 context.
Sir.
Yes, Professor.
Professor Anup, if you give me permission, I just want to pack up 2-3 questions. One from Pramod Bajpayee, which is on the screen, and one there very interesting remark by Pratibha Jain Mishra. BSW is on ventilator. Nowadays, MSW is flourishing. And there is another remark that this is the only, social work is the only profession in India which has the very weak structure at undergraduate level. It has all developed at master's level, while all other professions like medicine, law, engineering, architecture, they have their graduation base much stronger, Then they have the master's courses. So the Pramod Bajpayee asked whether there is a LOCF, you have the BSW, and there is a subject as a at BA level. And another question which combined with this, that Atul Pratap Singh asked, that we do not have faculty, so how we will implement the BSW courses, especially choice-based courses?
Sir, I have another question.
Sure. I have just taken over your role and without any intention. I just wanted to highlight.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Professor Jyoti Kakkar she's online and remarked the question basically which is related to the COVID-19, particularly the training and the manpower. How to correlate the manpower and the training for the COVID-19 pandemic. Sir, Sudhakar sir and Singh sir.
No, unless see, yes, please.
Yes, please. Professor Sudhakar, you
Okay.
please first.
Yes. See, unless say now the problem is the COVID-19 is not allowing a person to move with other individuals. So it is prohibits. The coronavirus itself is prohibiting the very interaction of individuals with other individuals. So in this context, many of, in fact, the other day also I had some interaction with my own students. So I told them, so these are the areas where you can work and something like that. So now they have, of course, they have they developed a kind of a fear complexity. Not all, but some they expressed fear complexity. But now that is not correct actually. So this is a challenging situation. One should jump into the action and try to help the people who are in difficulties. So especially our Rajkumar Singh also expressed about these migrant workers. This is the one area where we can work a lot.
I think, Anup, we need not to be scared about the corona. There is a problem. There is a corona, but this
Common
will not
problem.
be forever. This will
Okay,
not
sir.
be
It comes
forever.
and goes.
Focus
Yes,
on the
and
supply of the manpower and the training, sir. Particularly
moreover,
Jyoti Kakkar questions.
as a social worker, we have to not only to generate the knowledge, to disseminate the knowledge also. So by the use of the technology, we can contribute a lot, even giving the right information to the people. It's a kind of assistance, it's kind of service. Many of the many segment of the population are not even getting the right kind of information. And I have also heard that there is a lot of corruption in the corona period also. I should not decide, I should not open mouth here. But I said at the village level, at the panchayat levels, the innocent people are being exploited. We have seen in the newspapers that even doctors are running from here to there, from hospital to hospital, and they are not being admitted to the hospital. So here also the role of social work comes in the picture. Maybe we have the limited role because the state government is having the upper hand. But when we can make our voice, we can raise our voice, and this will be also a kind of service.
Okay, with the permission of the Professor Bhatt, the President of the NASFE, the concluding remarks. I want the one question I have the left, sir. Yes, sir.
You want to take up the question?
Yes, sir.
No,
One question not only.
Yes, sir.
From the both. From the both.
Professor Bhatt, I would like to say something. First, take up the question.
Okay. You want to say something about, sir?
Please take up the question first.
Okay. It is a last question. As a senior social work educator, what is your message to the main stakeholders of the social work discipline? The Professor Sudhakar and Professor Singh. I repeat.
Yeah, what's your question? Please repeat it.
As the senior social work educators, what is your message to the main stakeholders of the social work discipline? What is your message?
Method.
Message.
what you would like to convey to the stakeholders of the social work, the main stakeholders of the
Yes.
social work? Should I take up this question?
Please.
Sure.
I think our main stakeholders are the students themselves. Though as a social worker, we have the stakeholders, the teachers, the students, the employees in the organizations where the social workers are working, and the society at large. But the main stakeholders are social workers for whom we are there, and we owe our existence as a teacher, as a researcher. And I think the message is loud and clear that be honest to yourself. If you are studying, if you are pursuing a certain degree program, be 100%. Either you do or you don't do. If you are not being permitted, or if you are not interested, please don't do social work for the sake of the fashion. Because there should not be difference between the saying and deeds of the social workers. What we cannot do, why we should say that we will do this. So to be honest to oneself is the enough, I think, for the stakeholders.
Well,
Professor
sir,
Sudhakar.
there is a one question from Professor Jagdish Solanki. How can we influence increasing number of private trust managed social work institution to incorporate LOCF?
Yes.
How we can?
How we can influence increasing number of private trust managed social work institution to incorporate LOCF? I mean, he's fearing that LOCF may not be implemented by many private institutions. So how to ensure that?
Professor,
Right.
but
There is a
LOCF is a mandate but not mandatory. Even
No.
for the
At least-
government aided institutions. There is a
yes.
there is a
That
very
flexibility
big
is there.
flexibility is there. And the big corporations are the trusted by the corporations. I think we should not make any generalization. There are good trust and good corporations also. But naturally, the funding agency has the upper hand, so they will manage in their own way. One question was from somebody that from where the teachers will come. I think somebody was asking.
Yes.
This is a universal phenomena and very dangerous phenomena for the social work education. We don't have any council. Even I have been told that the UGC is not ready to accept as a professional subject, though quoting the social work as a profession in all their documents. Recently, some teachers sent me a cutting of the newspaper that social work and journalism has been excluded from the category of professional subjects by the UGC. I don't know the real situation. But the shortage of the teacher is a universal present phenomena in every institutions. But the education institutions are those who are in the policy. They have their limited role because it is up to the political will, and a lot of litigation is also going on there. So shortage of the teacher is a very big issue before the social work institutions, and everybody is worried. But there are the situations where we are helpless. I think it is the state government, it is the political will which only can help in this situation.
About the implementation of the LOCF for the private institutions, our LOCF is very flexible in nature. So whatever they wanted to adopt, they can adopt it, and at least the 30% of that they can adopt it. The remaining, they can have their own choice. So there won't be any problem with the private institutions offering the social work program.
Right. So anything else from Anup, your side?
No, sir, you take over the chess. Take over the sessions.
Right. So
Before Professor Bhatt give a formal thanks and convey his message, I am actually feeling not feeling but missing some of our colleagues who were very instrumental in the LOCF formation. The two senior professors, Professor Jyoti Kaur
Jyoti Kakkar, sir.
and Jyoti Kakkar and Professor M.N. Parmar. Due to your arrangement, I think they could not find a space. And then one teacher from the Jamia, Asya Nasreen. Since a lot of discussion has taken around the LOCF, and these teachers have been very much helpful, very much guiding, very much putting their efforts. So it's my bounden duty to make them realize that I am missing at this time to them also. Have they been here, I think they would have much more focused conversation on the LOCF. With these words, I thank you.
I am also, sir, missing.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Singh, and thank you, Professor Sudhakar. We come to an end to this discussion. I think this is one of the longest discussion in all the 11 conversation series. And before closing, I have said in beginning, Professor Singh, that because of certain regions, technical regions, into the bringing many people into the studio, we could not bring Professor Jyoti Kakkar and Professor M.N. Parmar. So I have already asked my forgiveness from them. But on other occasion, we will see that the entire team is there. One very good comment came from Pratibha Mishra. She says, thanks for organizing on LOCF, but we need another discussion on that. So we hope that we will meet again. One thing I would like to make a comment on the professional status, which I have made at number of other places. This letter which has been circulated into the WhatsApp University, that social work has been removed from the professional status. I tell you, I have inquired with the UGC. UGC has this was with respect to the scholarship to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe students. So they have clarified that those subjects which have the council or which are being regulated by the council, they will be included only in the list. And in that context, journalism and social work, those who were with which the UGC itself recognized them as a profession, but they have to keep it away because they have to create a standard. So they say those which have been governed by the council. But I pleaded with them that Rehabilitation Council also accept the social work as their professional. So it could be added into that. Anyway, this is one. Second is that the issue of the council, which has been raised in almost all platform, and probably social workers have in mind that council is the panacea of all ills in the social work education. Maybe or may not be, I don't know, but we are making our effort. The only thing is this, which I repeat on every platform and every forum, that it is because of our in-house inadequacy that we are so unorganized. That if you mix all the associations of India, social work association, you do not have a 5-digit number in the membership. While if you go, if you see, we are producing roughly 25 to 26,000 students every year. So, we have a 6 lakh fraternity in this 21st century, which we have produced, and we are not able to have the, organize them. So because of that, anyway, last, I would like to say that this is 11th conversation. 12th conversation will be on the 16th of June, which will be on the social work response to COVID-19, where we are trying to bring you certain experiments which we have done during COVID, and we are planning to continue after the COVID, and we will be demonstrating them. Then also we are responding some of the questions which remain unanswered, and therefore this series will come to an end, first part of it. But people have liked it, people have appreciated it, people have applauded it. So we are really grateful on behalf of the NAPSRI that this conversation came first time. We may come in some different form, and we are planning to bring some other people, those who are practitioners largely, to on the platform. So let's wait for the second series, which will begin. And once again, my apology to Professor Parmar and Professor Jyoti Kakkar not to bring him on the studio. And thank you very much, Professor Singh, for giving your time. And thank you, Professor Sudhakar, for agreeing to our request and to come on the NAPSB platform to discuss the issue which you have put a very hard labor, I know, while you were drafting the LOCF. My request is that let's have the LOCF for the post-graduation level also. And thank you, Anup, for agreeing to moderate the session, which you have done beautifully, except somewhere technical glitches which was not in your control. And thank you very much, Prasant, for all technical support. And from NAPSB, on behalf of NAPSB and from my own, I once again thank you, the viewers, those who who have watched this program, and I hope that they have been find the value of their time in watching this program. Once again, thank you for some of the seniors like Professor Brij Mohan and Dr. Jyoti Kakkar was also on the, I could find her name. So thank you to them also for coming up and watching the program. And once again, pranam to all. Thank you, and stay healthy, stay home, stay connected, and we will definitely win over the corona. Namaskaram.
Thank you very much, sir, for
Thank you.
giving this